One of the things that Will said there kind of really resonated with me when he's saying about, you know, you've got these courts in London deciding the fate of this facility up north. And that, for me, is a really key point, because it's at what point does the national interests, if you want, supersede the views of the local councils and all the rest of it?
Yeah, I think everyone around the country and everyone who's got one of these things happening near them, whether it's an RAF base or a hotel, doesn't want it. So we're unanimous as a nation. Wherever you go, whether it's here in Lincolnshire, Llanelli, there's one in Essex, there's the prison that's being turned into a refugee centre in Bexhill in East Sussex. Nobody wants it. So I think the High Court needs to recognise that. There's a unanimity here of people saying enough is enough. The government needs to get a grip of the actual issue, which is to stop letting illegal military-age men into the country across the border from France, across the water, across the channel from France.
I'll come back to you on a sec on that, but Frank, your thoughts?
Well, I don't think the issue here is national interest versus local interest, because it's not in the national interest to allow the institutionalization of illegal immigration. And I think what these policies do is they give you a fait accompli, which basically say that illegal immigration is here to stay, and we're going to just dump the problem on local communities all over the country. And it seems to me that what we should be talking about is not whether or not this particular local community has the right to stand up for its own interest, but whether the nation as a whole ought not to stand firmer and demand that this flow of immigration should be stopped, and that the government should basically stop playing this game of just giving up the very idea of control.
There'll be some people, you say the nation should stand together, there'll be some people in this country that are absolutely fine with this, and don't think this is a problem at all, that actually think we should be doing more to help people across the channel. Of
course, yeah, obviously if you live in Islington and you believe that this is the best thing to have happened to Britain, since the National Health Service, you're going to have a very casual and promiscuous attitude towards illegal immigration.
But your family came here as migrants, and, you're an upstanding man, and I'm noticing that you say, military-age men and all the rest of it, and people will get anxious about that. And, so some people will push back and say this demonisation of these people isn't right.
Well, the point is, I always presume in favour of migrants. I think migration is not a bad thing. The world has benefited from that. But there's a fundamental distinction between migration and migrants and illegal migrants. And I think what has happened is that we've eroded that distinction altogether. Everybody becomes legal. Nobody is any longer illegal. And we have a situation where this week, the Today program, day after day after day, is interviewing people who are planning to come here illegally. And they're interviewing them in the way that, you wouldn't interview burglars and say, why are you going to burglar this house? They're treating these people as if they have every right to come over here, and almost encouraging them, forgetting the fact that we're talking about people who are essentially breaking the law. And law-breaking, when that becomes acceptable in our society, means the end of national security.
But then we say that this is illegal and all the rest of it, but ultimately a lot of these people, their asylum claims will be rubber stamped and passed.
Yeah, they will be. I mean, the thing is, we're in the UN Refugee Convention, and that is, it can be taken two ways, because there is a clause in there that says if you come into a country, enter a country illegally, and then claim asylum, then you have to be treated like a citizen. I mean, this goes back to that convention from 1951, but we were in a totally different world there. I mean, that was mainly to help people coming from the Soviet bloc in Eastern Europe escaping to the West. There was no question of people from Africa and the Middle East coming en masse to Western Europe in those days. But now we have a different situation. We need to get out of these treaties so that we can actually control our borders, as we need to do in the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If anyone is in, true jeopardy, where, you are going to be tortured or whatever, especially when you've helped this country, then fair enough. But I just cannot get my head around why anybody would think that amassing 2,000 men in one area is not asking for trouble. I can't get my head around it. And if anyone doesn't actually know places like Scampton and stuff very well, you've got schools very, very close to this proximity. It beggars belief, and I say this often, but I do feel that sometimes this world is going mad, if not gone mad quite some time ago, some might say.